Okay, folks, Chapter 5, just a couple of additional points to bring up in the chapter. Most of the focus on Chapter 5 obviously is on the law of corrections and a lot of the rights of the inmate who is in fact incarcerated. One of the areas that has been somewhat controversial over time is the area of prison discipline or prisoner discipline. And the question is raised whether or not inmates really have any due process rights when they have a disciplinary violation. Okay, what would typically happen is, and the same holds true here in the state of Alaska, for instance, if you came into Fairbanks Correctional Center or any of the other correctional centers in the state, what you would find is you would receive an inmate handbook. Part and parcel of that inmate handbook, and this is part of your due process, is the fact that you will find procedures for not only grievance procedures but also procedures in terms of discipline, what you should expect if you commit as an inmate a disciplinary violation. And certainly, as if you do commit a disciplinary violation, you have some what we would consider very basic due process rights, which you would find within the 14th Amendment. Those due process rights include having written notice of any charge that's been brought against you as part of the disciplinary violation, your right to go ahead and have witnesses testify. You typically do not have the right of counsel, and certainly to have written notification of what the results of the disciplinary action ended up being. Certainly when you come into a facility and if you do have a disciplinary violation as an inmate, what would typically happen in most institutions, the institutions would have a disciplinary committee. That disciplinary committee may consist of 3 or 4 people. Those 3 or 4 people may include a senior staff member, director of security within the institution and such, or a senior correctional officer. So they'll sit on the committee, they'll hear cases, and then they'll make the recommendations from there. Many folks find that up to this point that's been sufficient. Certainly the Supreme Court case Wolf versus McDonald back in 1974 set the parameters for prison disciplinary process and prison disciplinary procedures. So at this point they do have some minor, or I say minor due process rights that they are afforded up to this point, and certainly they are made aware of those rights at the time they come into the facility, which is through their manual, through their inmate handbook and such.